Hello everyone, welcome to back my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Few and far between are the soap writers who know as well as the late, great William J. Bell did how to get an audience's attention and keep it. He was a master of provocation and titillation, innovation and inspiration, a puppeteer from whose strings hung our emotions. They don't make 'em like him anymore, and daytime television is all the poorer for it. The former ad man began his soap career learning from the best, Guiding Light and As the World Turns creator Irna Phillips, with whom he worked at both of those shows and, in 1965, created a primetime spin-off of the latter. Only a year later, his reputation for spinning gold from his typewriter was beginning to precede him. Bell was recruited by Days of Our Lives to make watching the struggling new soap feel less like staring at sand dropping in an hourglass. How successful was the rising star? So successful that in 1972, when he made plans to quit so he could run his own show, The Innocent Years, which was ultimately rechristened The Young and the Restless, Days of Our Lives sued to keep him penning its long-term story. Yes, this was back in the era when soaps actually mapped out long-term story. Birth of an Empire. When The Young and the Restless debuted in 1973, it wasn't an out-of-the-gate smash. Bell is said to have become so frustrated that he asked to pull the plug early on. But CBS believed in the soap, and in Bell, and in the end, the network's faith paid off. Since 1988, the show has been atop the Nielsen ratings. And at the time, there were 13 soaps on the air. Even before Young and Restless became the juggernaut that it did, CBS wanted more from Bell. So when the network removed Capital from the map in 1987, it turned to its resident Midas for a replacement and got The Bold and the Beautiful, aka the most watched soap in the world. A dark day for daytime. In a way, Bell will live forever, in the indelible memories that he put in all our heads, of Days of Our Lives' controversial built Laura Mickey triangle, of Young and Restless, infamous Lauren Sheila feud, of Bold and Beautiful's original Sally Spectra, a role he created specifically for the late Darlene Conley. But sadly, the wordsmith's time on Earth came to an end on April 29, 2005, when he passed away at age 78 from complications from Alzheimer's disease. On this occasion, however, let's not dwell on goodbyes that we never wanted to say. Let's instead flash back to better days, via the photo gallery below, which revisits highlights of Young and Restless' entire run. On the 20th anniversary of his passing, we look back at the life and career of Young and Restless and Bold and Beautiful's legendary county creator, William J. Bell. 20 years ago, the television world lost one of its most iconic visionaries. On April 29, 2005, William J. Bell, creator, writer, producer, and pioneer of modern American daytime drama, passed away, leaving behind a legacy that continues to shape the landscape of soap operas. As we mark the 20th anniversary of his death, we pause not just to remember his extraordinary accomplishments, but to celebrate the indelible impact he had on millions of viewers across generations. A quiet genius with a grand vision. Born on March 6, 1927, in Chicago, Illinois, William Joseph Bell wasn't born into television, he helped build it. In an age when the small screen was still finding its voice, Bell lent his pen and imagination to create stories that would echo through living rooms and family conversations for decades. His unique understanding of human emotion, interpersonal conflict, and moral complexity made him one of the most powerful storytellers in the medium. Though he began his writing career in advertising and even worked at Procter & Gamble, Bell's fate changed when he met Irna Phillips, often called the mother of soap operas. Phillips saw in Bell not just talent, but a kindred spirit, someone capable of pushing the genre forward. He began working with her on Guiding Light and As the World Turns, quickly establishing himself as a writer who could blend emotional intimacy with daring social commentary. But it was his creation of The Young and the Restless in 1973 that would cement his legacy. The Young and the Restless, a new era of soap opera. At the time Bell developed The Young and the Restless Y&R, daytime dramas were starting to feel formulaic and outdated. Bell saw an opportunity to reinvent the genre. Together with his wife, Lee Phillip Bell, a former Chicago talk show host and co-creator, he launched Y&R with a new philosophy, heightened realism, slower pacing, and cinematic storytelling. Bell's Y&R focused on character-driven drama and explored deeper psychological motivations. He broke the mold by showing raw vulnerability, intricate family ties, and subtle emotional shifts rather than sudden, sensational plot twists. He created characters with flaws, desires, and inner turmoil, people who felt real. Audiences responded in kind. By the late 1980s, The Young and the Restless had become the #1 rated daytime drama, a title it would hold for over 3 decades. The success of Y&R didn't just rest on its writing. Bell's production philosophy shaped its aesthetic: longer takes, moodier lighting, and close-up shots that lingered on expressions rather than racing through dialogue. He respected his audience's intelligence and rewarded their patience. This storytelling elegance made Y&R feel more like a novel unfolding on-screen than a typical soap opera. The Bold and the Beautiful, The Glamorous Sister. In 1987, Bell did what few creators could: he created another hit soap. The Bold and the Beautiful. B&B co-created again with his wife Lee, focused on the fashion industry in Los Angeles and the wealthy, feuding Forrester family. While Y&R delved into the emotional undercurrents of small-town Midwestern life, B&B was a high-gloss, jet-set counterpart, an opera of style, seduction, and sibling rivalry. Bell had a gift for contrast. Where Y&R offered restraint, B&B gave excess. But both were grounded in Bell's essential strengths: complex characters, deeply rooted relationships, and emotional realism. Even amid the glitz of runway shows and couture gowns, B&B managed to strike poignant notes about loyalty, betrayal, and love. Despite the challenge of launching a new show in a saturated market, The Bold and the Beautiful soon found its voice and its audience. It quickly became the most-watched soap opera in the world, with global syndication in over 100 countries. This was Bell's true genius, creating stories that transcended borders and touched universal human truths. Family, legacy, and the next generation. William J. Bell was not just a master storyteller, he was a devoted husband, father, and mentor. He shared his creative world with Lee Philip Bell, whose elegance and journalistic insight helped shape the emotional tone of their work. Together, they built a media dynasty that extended beyond television screens. Their children, Bradley Bell, Lauralee Bell, and William James Bell, would all become involved in television in their own ways. Bradley Bell, in particular, took up the mantle as executive producer and head writer of The Bold and the Beautiful, continuing his father's tradition of crafting compelling drama with heart. Lauralee Bell became a fan-favorite actress on Y&R as Christine, Cricket, Blair, while William James Bell worked behind the scenes in the business side of entertainment. The Bell family's continued involvement in daytime drama ensured that William J. Bell's influence would not wane after his death. His fingerprints are still visible in the shows that bear his name, as well as in the DNA of other writers and producers he mentored throughout his career. A legacy beyond the screen. In many ways, William J. Bell changed how people thought about soap operas. He proved that the genre could be more than melodrama, it could be art. He took seriously the emotions of women, who made up much of the daytime audience, and created spaces where their stories mattered. He wasn't afraid to tackle controversial topics: addiction, infidelity, class conflict, and mental health, through a human lens, and he did so with grace. Though Bell rarely sought the spotlight himself, his work spoke louder than any acceptance speech. In 1992, he was inducted into the Daytime Emmy Hall of Fame. He won multiple writing awards, but perhaps the greatest honor came from the enduring love of fans who, year after year, followed his stories with fierce loyalty. Today, many elements of streaming television, slow burns, morally gray characters, ensemble casts, owe a debt to Bell's innovations. Writers like Shonda Rhimes, Vince Gilligan, and others have taken the emotional intelligence of daytime drama and brought it to primetime prestige television. But Bell was doing it long before it was trendy. Remembering the man behind the curtain. As we mark 20 years since his passing, we remember not just William J. Bell the legend, but Bill the man. Colleagues and friends recall his quiet demeanor, his tireless work ethic, and his fierce commitment to storytelling. He was known to write scripts late into the night, fine-tuning dialogue until it rang with emotional truth. He respected actors, listened to producers, and often offered newcomers a chance to grow under his guidance. He once said, "In drama, what matters most is not the event, but how people respond to it." That philosophy guided everything he touched. Bell's belief in the human side of drama still resonates today. He reminded us that even in the most sensational of stories, what audiences truly care about is connection, how we hurt, how we heal, and how we love. Final curtain, endless echo. William J. Bell may have exited the stage 2 decades ago, but his work continues to play in countless lives. From the comfort of living rooms across America to television sets in Italy, South Africa, and Australia, his stories continue to resonate. His characters, Victor Newman, Brooke Logan, Eric Forrester, Nikki Newman, have become part of the cultural lexicon, timeless figures in an ever-evolving drama. To many fans, watching Y&R or B&B is more than entertainment, it's tradition. It's the comforting ritual of tuning in, day after day, and being part of something larger. And that is perhaps William J. Bell's greatest achievement. Not just crafting stories, but creating worlds we never want to leave. As the cameras continue to roll and the stories unfold, we honor the man who gave voice to so many. On this 20th anniversary of his passing, we thank William J. Bell, not just for the shows, but for the feelings, the memories, and the legacy of love and drama that will never fade. Would you like this formatted for publication, such as in a magazine layout or blog post style? Thanks for watching this video and please subscribe our Update World 24 YouTube channel for more update news.